Halifax house prices over the last 3 years have gone up quite a chunk of money, but the real question is, especially for buyers, what is driving that housing price increase? Well, let's give you some answers. Okay, so if you've been following all of our real estate stats and basically the media, you'll know that we've had such a big jump in the Halifax house price market that it's just like, how does this make sense? Well, we want to go through some of the key factors that are actually driving that house price in the Halifax area of actually increasing, because if we go back to say 2019, let's say early 2019, it was around about $380,000. Now, going off the last stat in September, that number was just short of $578,000. So you can see that's over 4 years, that's a pretty big increase. But what are the factors that's actually driving it? Well, the first factor, of course, is going to come down to supply and demand. If there is a lot of demand and very little supply, we know that basic economics says that the price is actually going to rise. And that's one of the key things that really happened here in Halifax, and to some extent it's still going on right now, is that we just have a shortage of houses that are available for sale. Couple that with the builders, and the builders are absolutely not building enough houses to warrant exactly the demand and the amount of people that are actually coming in to Nova Scotia. So as a basic supply and demand, high demand, low supply, price goes in one direction, and that's up. So that's one of the basic things, but it doesn't truly explain what is really going on in the Halifax market and why we've seen such a big jump in prices. So let's get into some real detail about why we think this is happening. Well, the first thing does come down to market conditions and specific neighborhoods. Now, Halifax has been seen very much as we're out on the East Coast, we kind of get left alone and nothing really goes on there. Well, that changed over the last 3 years. Certainly that little pandemic that we had really fueled some of that move. But one of the biggest things is that everybody started looking at the lifestyle that Nova Scotia and the Halifax area actually offers to people. And that's one of the key drivers. You come from somewhere like Ontario, you come from somewhere like BC, where there is a huge amount of traffic, there's lots of commute, there is no space between houses. And then all of a sudden you come to Nova Scotia on vacation, you start looking at the house prices and you start looking at the space in places like Fall River and Hammonds Plains, Indigo Shores, Middle Sackville, just to name a few, Porters Lake, there's another one. And you start seeing the space that you can get around the house, and you start realizing that, let's say on a busy day, we're 30 to 40 minute commute from those to the downtown Halifax core, and people start looking at the lifestyle, and then they start going, well, what would I pay for that lifestyle? And that certainly is one of the biggest factors that has shown the increase, because people at the very start of 2019, 2020 were looking at those prices, looking at what they could sell for in Ontario, in Alberta, in BC, and going, this is crazy. Like, I can spend half of the amount of money and I can get all of that in Nova Scotia, and I have the ability to work from home. Sounds like a no-brainer. So that's factor number one, is it did come down to the lifestyle choices that people are making and what they would pay for those lifestyle choices. Now, number two, we're getting into mortgages, because let's exclude today, but if you go back to the 2019, 2020, it was pretty much free money. Like, we were in the low twos, high ones for a mortgage rate. And then all of a sudden, people start looking at, again, back to the neighborhood, back to what they could afford, and they start looking at the mortgage and what that payment would be to get that property. Again, it becomes a no-brainer. Now, that has absolutely changed, and that, if you go back to the September and the August market stats that we did, you'll understand that we have definitely seen a change in the market, and we are certainly seeing a lot more price changes. Let's call them price corrections. or you could just go straight into like price reductions on a lot of different houses, and you can see that filtering through into our market. We can see that the inventory is going up. We can see the days on market is going up as well, and that is really a factor that's going into the market like right now. But go back 2-3 years ago, everybody was looking at the price they were having to pay, the mortgage payment they were going to need, again, the lifestyle they were going to live, and they were like, no brainer, we just got to get on and do this. So that's obviously one of the big factors that has actually taken place as well. And then one of the last factors that we want to look at, of course, is builders. Couple that with the migration coming in, and the builders are absolutely not building enough new construction to actually get the houses built to put some more of that supply onto the market. And even in the first half of this year, 3 or 4 of the major builders have all said that their housing starts are down because mortgage rates are up. So a lot of the people that were affording potentially the new builds at $750,000 are basically at 2/3 of that number now because of the mortgages, and therefore they've scaled back on the amount of houses that they need to build. But we'll have another video coming on that one soon, or you can go to Instagram because we'll do a reel on that as well, because it's going to be a real problem and it's coming soon. So those are the 3 factors that are explaining what has gone on, especially for the buyers when they're asking like, why is the house prices so much in Halifax? That's what's going on. Stick around, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, send us a DM, and we will give you all the more information. And if we can help you with your move to here in Halifax, just give us a shout, arrange a Zoom call, and we'll get you taken care of.